Well, I guess let's just go ahead and get started. First of all, just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today, especially to the media, because I always get up here and say every year, you guys are awesome, and we really appreciate all that you guys do for us and all of the support and the coverage that you give to our little soccer club here in Midland, Odessa. So again, thank you. In addition to that, wanted to thank Elizabeth Kidney with Oxy as well. Elizabeth, if you want to give the old hand wave. Oxy is our presenting sponsor again for this year, and will be have a prominent display on the front of our uniforms again this year. So again, on behalf of the Soccers and me and Monty and Luis, who you'll get to meet here shortly, just a big thank you, Elizabeth, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So awesome. Before I bring up our new head coach, just wanted to take a second to kind of recap 2017, since I think this is the first time that we've been in front of you guys since then. Obviously, 2017 was tremendous. The best year that we've ever had. And, you know, did we ever expect that? No. Do we, you know, kind of expect, I guess, to do it again? We always hope to do that again, but I don't think you can ever expect to play in the national championship game. My thing is always just put a good product on the field, get qualified for the playoffs, and let the chips kind of fall where they may once the playoffs start. And I thought we did a really good job of that last year. So proud of the staff last year, so proud of all of our players last year in overcoming all of the challenges that we had to overcome at the end of the postseason with the timing of the national championship game and everything that went into that. The good news is that has been rectified for the 2018 season and going forward. We won't ever have to cross that bridge again. I guess it was kind of unfortunate that we were maybe the guinea pig or whatever, or that it happened to us as opposed to some other team. It was just kind of a perfect storm last year. You know, we were a college-based team last year, basically 100%. And most of the teams in this league are not 100% college-based. They're anywhere between 0 and 75%. So it really affected us, but we made the best of a bad situation last year and went to Elm City, flew into New York, went to Elm City, and represented well, I thought. I mean, it was 2-0. We were down 2-0 at the 75-minute mark. You look at the final score of 5-0, and it is what it is. It was 5-0. But at the 75-minute mark, it was 2-0. So I thought we did really well there. So I was proud of those guys for doing what they did. Looking forward to 2008, which is why we're here today. Another year in the NPSL. It'll be our second year, something that we're really looking forward to. I do not have the schedule ready for you guys yet. It has not been released yet. We are getting really, really, really close, I think, in being able to get that schedule out to everybody. I can say that there's going to be 9 teams in our conference this year, which will remain the Lone Star Conference. It will be the same 8 teams that we had last year, plus FC Brownsville Coyotes. So we're going to have a hike down there to the U.S.-Mexico border. It's actually, I think, got to be our first game. And with the kind of format that we've got with 9 teams this year, we didn't really want to do a table of having 9 full teams. It also didn't kind of work, I guess, to have a division of 5 and a division of 4. So for this year, we're going to try something new and do a pod system where it's going to be 3 pods of 3 teams. So our pod is going to be us, Fort Worth, and Tyler FC. Within that 3-team pod, 2 of those teams will advance to the postseason. And overall, 1 and 2 will draw byes overall. So even if you're a pod winner, there's going to be 1 pod winner that has to play in the first round. Hopefully, will end up with a bye in the first round as one of the 2 top point getters, and we will avoid having to play what I call wild card weekend. So yeah, that's that. 3 pods of 3 for a total of 9 teams. I anticipate having the schedule released and out to the media and to the public hopefully as early as next week. So, but certainly the big news of today is the introduction of our new head coach, Luis Rincon, who I'll bring up here in just a moment. Gosh, what a phenomenal 4-year run we had under Matt Barnes. Matt is a great friend of mine, love him to death. He decided this year that he was going to stay at his college down there in San Antonio and concentrate on that. He's got a family now, including a newborn. She's really young. So he's going to stay and do the family thing in San Antonio for the summer. I fully anticipate that he will likely make a trip or two up here to Midland to see some of our games. But we couldn't be more happy to introduce Luis as our new head coach of Sockers FC for this year. When we opened up this job in December, the amount of resumes that came in for this job was kind of overwhelming. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if we were going to get 15, if we were going to get 75. Well, I was pleased to get, well over 50 resumes for this job. And there were a number of people who kind of stood out. And obviously, Luis was at the very top of those resumes for the ones that stood out to us. He's got some experience in Texas. He was a goalkeeper at Texas A&M International University, and he was an assistant coach at TAMU as well, under the current head coach that's still there, I believe. So he's somewhat familiar with Texas, somewhat familiar with West Texas, which is big for us, because we didn't want to bring somebody in that had never been to Texas before, because we all know, it's just a little bit different than the rest of the country is. And then on top of that, just what Luis has been able to do at Ohio Valley University. He goes there in 2015, which is his first season there. He inherits a team that had won, was it 0 or 1? 0 games the year before. Hadn't won any games, didn't win any games in 2014. 2015 season, I think they're 500 approximately. 2016, they're a little bit above 500. This past year, he's got them give or take 17, 2, and 3, something like that, nationally ranked in the top 10 in Division II for all of the NCAA, and that just kind of spoke volumes to us about the type of soccer coach that he is. Not only that, but then he also takes on doing it on the women's soccer side at OVU as well, because he's the Director of Soccer Operations, I think is his official title there at Ohio Valley. So he takes over a team in 2017 that didn't win any games in 2016 on the girls' side, and had a tremendous season with those guys on the girls' side as well. So we know he's a great coach. We know he's got ties in Texas, and we're really excited to announce as the 4th head coach in Sockers FC history, our new head coach for 2018 and hopefully beyond, Luis Rincon.
First, I wanted to thank Jeff especially for everything that he has done so far for me to be here today. Also the whole organization, the grit, it has been great, fantastic. This is a great opportunity for me, opportunity I was looking for, a perfect setup, having 2 successful teams, baseball team and the soccer team, so I'm very pleased, I'm very glad to be here. I understand that there is a big responsibility because what Coach Burns has done in the previous years has been outstanding. So the standards are really high. But when you find guys like this guy here with, trying to take things very, very professional, very serious at a high level, you expect to get those type of results. So, now the pressure is on me, the responsibility is on me. I know I like this type of situations, like he mentioned before, what I achieving at Ohio Valley University and what I want to keep achieving forward. I know below runner-up is a field trip, and I'm ready for it. There's a lot of things that have to fall in place in order to achieve that, but we're gonna work really hard. We're working really hard since the first day that he told me I was gonna be the head coach, trying to bring the best players possible into the team. We're gonna try to change a little bit things, go more to the community, try to get more involved with our team, because at the end of the day, it's the growth of the game here in this part of Texas. That's what we want. Also, I wanted to thank, like he said, Oxy. I guess you have been very good supporters of our team. So I want to thank you, Elizabeth, for your kindness. And I don't know if you guys have any other questions or anything. Sorry.
I'll go through it.
I don't know if you guys have any questions for me.
How much, maybe when you were at Ohio, were you maybe kind of following what was happening with this organization last year? Had you heard anything about what they were going through and just kind of how remarkable it was that team that ended up what it ended up being, pretty much went against a professional team in the championship, and like Jeff said, was right there. I mean, how impressive was that to you if you were following along?
I mean, when I was in Laredo at Tommy U, I was very familiar with the league when they were at PDL, now in PSL, so I'm always following. That's incredible, the way that they did it. So that's very impressive, and that's one of the reasons why I want to be here.
What is your coaching style? Like, what kind of pace do you like to play with? Are you more of a defensive-minded coach? Do you like to push the pace offensively? What's kind of your philosophy?
Something that I forgot to mention, or my philosophy always is try to play good football. Try to have players that respect the game, that they're very technical, try to possess the ball, and try to be aggressive, go forward. I don't like to sit back. Of course, there's gonna be times and moments and games that are different because of playoff situation that, 5-10 minutes left, and if I have to park the bus in the goal, we park the bus and we get the result. At the end of the day, we gotta win. So it kind of depends, but my mindset with the players that I'm trying to bring, the style of players, is just to be very offensive type of set, and then very aggressive, where we're gonna try to pressure high. We're not gonna wait for anybody. We're gonna go and try to propose good football.
So 10 years ago, our first playoff game in Laredo, you're at the game. Soccer's year 1 now to year 10. So did you have a plan that way to say in 10 years I'm going to be head coach of this team?
Yeah, try to plan everything in advance. So in 10 years.
We were talking earlier, is that our first playoff game, playing Laredo, overtime, great game. Jeff and I were there, so yes, we didn't come down and say hi to you.
Yeah, you should have. But that's crazy that, I was at the same game with you guys, watching the same game, so I'm very familiar with the team. I know what's the expectations here.
Last year, there was a bit of a local flavor to this organization. There were 3 former MISD players, 2 Midland High guys, of course, Alex, and then Darius Scrambler, who I think Jeff went to that showcase in Florida.
Yeah.
And was one of the better players out there, from what it sounded like. I mean, is that something you would aim to do, is kind of maybe target some of Lee and Midland High's players, talk about the growth of the game in this community, to maybe have them come out and play for you? Or
Yes, I mean, we want the best players possible, of course. We're gonna have an open tryout March 11th for everybody to come, and if we find 10 players from here that are at the level and they're maybe ready, or maybe will be ready in a couple of years, we're willing to get them involved and get minutes to those guys that maybe have potential in a few years in the road, because that's the idea, you know, to promote more the game here, to develop more, and if you don't put it on the field, they're not gonna develop any. So if we find those type of players, we're very open. We want the best players possible.
You guys want? Yeah, shoot. We'd like to, okay. So I think what we'll do